Well, this is new. Very few people know about this. Why? It happened last night. That is new. I had one of the most vivid dreams I've ever had in my life. In fact, it was at a different dimension than any dream I ever had in my life. And I've had some pretty powerful dreams that have proven that it's God. I'm reminded of, I had a dream once and in which God himself came to me. And by the way, we're in a prayer meeting, so if you see me looking to the right or the left, I'm not ignoring you. It's just there are people all around. This is our prayer meeting. So I had this dream in which God himself came to me. And God said, more Jewish people are going to come to the Lord through your book than anything you've ever done. And, it was a dream, so, give me a little grace in what I'm about ready to say. And I said to Jesus, you mean my book, my testimony book, is finally going to take off? And he said, no. He said, your book of Jewish testimonies. And before I could inform him, I didn't have a book of Jewish testimonies. I woke up, and he did know that the minute he tells me something, I'm going to act on it. So, some people he has to speak to years in advance. With me, he just tells me, and I'm off to the races. That's my DNA. And history says, if you had told me at the time that we would have so many of these books in distribution, mailed to Jewish households throughout all of North America, what is it, over 1 million now, I think, we've mailed to Jewish households throughout North America. It's in multiple languages. Millions have been distributed, all from a dream. So I've learned to pay attention to dreams, especially a dream. It was the most unique dream I've ever had, ever. I woke up and I decided, well, it's a little early. I can get a little bit more sleep. And so I laid down and tried to go back to sleep. But I wasn't successful. And then I found myself in a dream. I didn't know it was a dream. It was the most real dream I ever had. I thought I was still awake, but I was in a dream. And I was on a baseball team. Of course, it's kind of interesting. Number one, I'm not an athlete. Number two, I've never played regular baseball. I've played softball, but I've never really played regular baseball. See, I was crippled when I was young, and I kind of missed the whole sports thing. But I'm on the team, and I'm sleeping in a dormitory with all the other players there. Each one had their own bed, all in a big room. And all of a sudden, and by the way, I know I can't go to sleep. I'm all alert. And all of a sudden, I feel, but my eyes are closed because I'm trying to go to sleep. And all of a sudden, I feel a warm hand on my forehead. And I'm thinking, what is that? And then I think, oh, it's the coach. He's praying over every player. Isn't that nice? He'll stop in a second and I can go to sleep. He didn't stop. The hand remained on my head. It seemed like he was never going to stop. And then I decide, well, wait a second now. I have to take a shower. And then all these guys, I don't know how many showers they have in this place. And I bet I'm not able to sleep. So I might as well get up and go into the shower. But I decide I don't want to be rude. Whoever this is, he's like, has his hand on my head. I thought he would go to each bed, put his hand on each person and pray a quick prayer. No, he's got his hand on my head. So I'm thinking, how can I tell him to stop praying for me? And I mean, he may be, the big guy on the baseball team. I don't know. The manager. How can I tell him that? And I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll kind of pretend like I might be waking up. I'll kind of turn over. And then he'll get the hint. So I turn over, and sure enough, the hand is gone. But I then open my eyes, and I really was awake at this point. I then open my eyes, and I'm in my bedroom. I'm not in that dormitory room. And I'm thinking, well, where is that person? How did he get into my bedroom? And I then realized it was a supernatural prayer. And then my first thought was, boy, I'm so sorry I got out of it. But this is what I believe was going on. Number one, there was a strong impartation from God. Number two, I don't know what it was. I don't have a clue. But time will tell. May have a clue before I finish this video. I pray that I do. But then I also had thoughts I didn't mention yet. During this dream, I thought, how can I play with these good athletes? I'm not prepared. I'm not ready. But here I am. I'm going to be playing in front of people. I'm not even an athlete. I don't even know all the rules. What am I going to do? I wish I'd prepared more. And then I thought, and besides that, I have this ministry to run. How can I'll play one game and then I'm going to leave? And how am I going to explain to them there's all going on in the dream, that I think's for real. Because I'm coming up with some pretty good questions to be asking myself, And this is the revelation of the dream. Something is coming, and I'm not prepared for it. And the reason that I'm not prepared for it is it's something I've never done before. It's something that the world has never seen before. I can't get an instruction manual. I can't look at, go call mature believers and say, do you remember when that happened? What was it like? Because there's no paradigm for this. Everything that's working now will be a dinosaur when this new thing comes. If you are not of the mindset that you're going to move with the cloud, you're going to remain in the desert. I can tell you this, if I have the mindset that no matter what, I'm following the cloud, and most of you know how old I am. This September, I turned 80. And I absolutely believe that this is what everything I have done to date is for this next thing that's coming. And I also know what my job is in this next thing. Number one, I am hungry for more. I'm going to soak up as much of this greater glory, this next move of God's Spirit, as anyone watching me right now. You'll have to run to keep up with me. But number two, we're going to move into new technology. We're not prepared for it. We're going to move into new methods, new technology, new methods, new strategies, and our job is to equip you for the next move of God's Spirit. Why are you supposed to be equipped? Because it's going to be different than we've ever seen before. It's not going to be a few superstars on television or having big healing meetings. It's going to be the superstar, the hope, inside of me, inside of you. You see, I've heard for a long time, but it's so real, it's like I'm almost repeating old news, but it's never happened. We're going to see all these great football stadiums around the world, soccer stadiums around the world, filled with non-believers that are going to walk into these meetings, and the people speaking will be no-name speakers, because it plain doesn't matter who is speaking. It doesn't matter. This is the great outpouring that all the Jewish prophets spoke about, that Joel spoke about, that the book of Acts started, but it's a level of glory that's going to change everything. It's going to change your family. How? I want you to think about someone in your family that is the least likely to come to know the Messiah. Not the most likely, the least likely. In fact, someone you prayed and prayed and prayed and you're discouraged. You've almost given up. Don't give up. It's a whole new paradigm. It's almost like a new world. It's going to be almost like heaven on earth. It's going to be almost like what Jesus prophesied. You. That was you. I can point it this way too. It's me too. You will do the same works that I have done, and even greater. This is the greater works. And our job is to bring it to you wherever it is in the world, with the new technology that we don't even have yet, in a new way that we don't even know yet. But I just told the senior managers of our staff that this is what God's put on my heart to do. And I'm telling you this too, because whatever you say, I don't have the education, I don't have the brain power, I don't have the skills. You don't. And the more you realize it, the more you'll be grateful to God. He does. Where is he? He's inside of you. Whosoever. You're a whosoever. This is the best time to be alive on planet Earth. And by the way, I'm going to be a sign and wonder for those that think, well, who's going to take over Sid's ministry when he gets promoted? I mean, 80, come on, I would have thought that. But Moses went to 120 because he basked and lived in the glory of God. He even sinned badly. Couldn't even go into the full promises of God, the promised land. He could just look at it from a distance. But you know what is said about him? His eyes were perfect. His strength was as a young man. It hadn't diminished at all. Why? He lived in the glory. I picture some of you having so much glory, and some of you may be shyer than me. So you may be like Moses. You may put a face mask over the glory, not over the coronavirus, but over the glory. Yeah, let's see, I had one, but I dropped it. I think I still have it. Last time I put this face mask on, I got more criticism from people saying, oh, you're afraid? No, I'm not afraid. I'll tell you what, I do have a healthy fear, though. Maybe it's time to tell you guys the truth. And that is, I have a fear, a healthy reverence for God. It's in a healthy way. I don't want to displease him. I don't want to not fulfill my book of life. I want to fulfill my destiny. And the glory is the game changer. Whatever looks impossible in the natural, some of the dreams and visions you've had for decades now, in the glory, all things are possible. So, throw off the old, be willing to walk in the new, and be excited. God's called you to the kingdom for this specific time in history. And there is no one else that can do what God's called you to do.